Action Comics issue 1056 finds Superman battling the Cyborg Superman, who thanks the hero for his recent adventures on Warworld, since because of Superman's boost from the white sun of the planet, the technology of the unmade, and none of his childish restraint, it has allowed the Cyborg Superman for the first time in his life to have nothing hold him back. Henshaw unleashes his boosted power onto Superman and Steel as Superboy is blasted by Tracy Corbin with a kryptonite beam, telling her brother that it's not her doing this and she doesn't want to hurt them. John shields the Super Twins, understanding that his sister is not in control, but assures her they will make it okay. Steel helps up Connor, who knows that they need to wrap this up quick since there's quite a bit of kryptonite down there with them. John Henry is more worried about the Super Twins since Henshaw blames Superman for his wife's death, and he suspects the villain thinks that killing the children might be the best way to punish the hero. Henshaw captures the children, telling the family that the body he is in is a nexus for his consciousness, all thanks to the treachery of Superman, because thanks to the Warworld technology Superman brought back, he can now be everywhere, like in A-Town, where the Necrohive under his control is battling the Superman family who are losing, while more of the Necrohive are under the Warworld refugee camp in the town, taking apart the city's structural supports and intending to slide the settlement into the sea. Superman charges the villain, telling him that will only happen over his dead body, which Henshaw quips is the plan. Steel and Superboy meanwhile combat the mechanical monsters of Henshaw, but become overwhelmed by them. Connor asks if the Eradicator is going to help them, but the Hardlight construct won't lift a finger to help a flawed clone and two Philosian exiles, since they are not of any interest to Krypton. Eradicator, however, mentions before his connection is cut by Henshaw that Henshaw's constructs are fluid, so when one is destroyed, another one will be created in its place. But if Connor uses his tactile telekinesis to disrupt Henshaw's commands, then they will all be cancelled out and won't be able to reform. Connor unleashes his telekinesis, disrupting the signals, leaving Henshaw open to attack. Henshaw, however, decides that Tracy is still of use, taking control of her properly and sending her after Superboy. Steel defends him, smashing the woman down with his kinetic hammer. Metallo attacks Steel for touching his sister, rushing to help her up as Henshaw finds the woman is a disappointment, expecting more from the Warworld metal that she was built from. Metallo flies into a rage, attacking the villain, but Cyborg Superman is faster, slicing off John's jaw, finding it struck a nerve since Tracy seems to be the only nerve Corbin has left. Henshaw calls Metallo a tool only to be wielded by his betters, and he was a gun who dreamt he was a man. Henshaw refuses to accept that, blasting Henshaw with his eye beams before digging his claws into the cyborg's body, telling him he knows what he is and Henshaw is the one who forgot, as he rips the Cyborg Superman in two, taking Henshaw offline. In A-Town, the Necrohive goes offline, letting Supergirl know that Cal's team succeeded in their mission. Keenan meanwhile hears the heartbeat of something familiar, racing through the rubble as he finds one of the cyborgs still has a human heartbeat. He grabs the man, speeding towards. Steel works with him as John tells his father that the threat has been dealt with. Clark tells him that Henshaw's body was destroyed and his mind is still in the Phantom Zone, unable to access any of his Nexus bodies. Superman knows that they didn't make it out uninjured as he tries to stabilize Tracy with his heat vision. John tells his sister that she'll be okay, having been hurt way worse than this, and they will patch her up quick, since she is one of the good guys, and good guys always win. Sometime later, Clark publishes an article in the Daily Planet about the recent events in Metropolis, reminded of the planet's longest-serving publisher, Gerald Winslow, who would famously tell new hires that if you drop a penny from the top of the planet's building, it lands in every office, living room, and the kitchen on Earth. Clark knows what that really meant was that Metropolis is a city of tomorrow, one home to heroes long before the first costume crime fighters called it home. And it's a place that calls to the great thinkers, dreamers, artists, and champions. He understands that people look to Metropolis to learn how things are done and how to treat your fellow man. But Clark's article wonders what the world is learning from them now, since with new ideologies emerging, violence has sprung up in the city, and maybe that's inevitable, or that power corrupts the powerful. He knows that those who try and tear down the city fail to understand that as Metropolis is a city of new ideas and diverse cultures, it is by definition a place of hope and tolerance, and their enemies will always try and change that about them, but they will always push back. At Steelworks, John comes to see his sister, finding that they are taking very good care of her, and while he's been confined to the sub-basement, it's a lot nicer than Stryker's Island. He shows off the new body that John Henry and Natasha got him, but knows it's nothing like his sister's, who doesn't even look like anything happened to her. Tracy, however, rips the skin from her arm, wanting it off her body since she can't live like this, unable to feel anything and never able to get hot or cold again. She thinks that she has become a monster, much like her brother is now, but John tells his sister that whatever's inside of him has been there since they were kids, and it wasn't the kryptonite or the metal parts that made him into a monster. He knows that she isn't like that at all, and she's more like Superman or the twins. She is a good guy, and he will not abandon her. Superman watches through the security feeds, thanking John and Nat for keeping them there. Nat thinks that it's just like Superman to look out for Metallo after everything he's done to him, not wanting to say that anyone else would do the same, since that's not true at all. Clark knows that Tracy needs her brother, and John is going to surprise them one day, wanting Natasha just to wait and see. Later that night at the Blue Earth headquarters, the group meet to discuss how they can win their losing battle against Superman and his family, since with every new building that goes up, they are running it off of the Steelworks energies, which are made using Kryptonian and Warworld technology, while humans like Lex Luthor and Charles Walker III are locked up or run out of business. The leader thinks that their kids are being indoctrinated on things like the United Planets, and the Kryptonification of Metropolis is very real and a big threat to them, and they must stop it. A voice asks if this is why they started Blue Earth, wondering if they really think the stuff they say. The Blue Earth leader reveals herself, telling her people that Metropolis is terrified of Superman and his family, not Metallo or the other so-called villains, thanks to what the family can do. She knows the people are happy to clap and cheer because they are terrified of what will happen if they stop. She proclaims that by tomorrow, Superman and his family will be mass murderers, and it will be their family of the Blue Earth movement who saves the day for a change. As always, thank you so much for watching, and if you like what you saw, leave a comment and a like, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with all of the big Marvel and DC Comics books every week.